Hi, Geetika. Today we're going to be talking about the employee value proposition, a word that is being used now more than ever. More and more organizations are jumping this journey to create a proposition that works for them and also for people, both internally and externally. Just curious to know your thoughts on why is this sudden focus, enhanced focus on EVP right now, and what do you think it really does for us?
So thanks, Sujatha. Personally, my view is EVP really defines the essence of the organization. How it's unique, what does it really stand for, both internally and externally. And now, of course, with the pandemic, I think the conversation has become even more higher in decibel levels. It's always been there. So EVP has always been an important part of how we function, but it has had to evolve with the pandemic, specifically during the pandemic when everybody was working from home. Hershey India, what we did was ensure we give them, furniture to make them comfortable, or headphones, or whatever it took for, adapting to a newer way of working. And now that people are coming back, we are again kind of adapting to see how do we ensure employees feel really understood, they feel that they are invested in, cared for. So Hershey globally, and of course also in India, has done this best of both model. What that entails is really, 3 days we ask people to come to work. It's really our collaboration days. It's when we kind of reinvest in our relationship accounts. And 2 days we kind of ask people to work from home. That's the focus days when they can really kind of zoom out and into whatever they want to kind of work on. So, and this we believe will remain a permanent fixture as we go forward. So, like I said, it's such an important element of how we work, and it keeps evolving, and that's really what we are gunning for.
You are talking about hybrid working, and there are a lot of organizations right now really trying to find the magic mix about how this can work well for a large majority of their population. In fact, one thing, again, getting it back to our EVP agenda that I was thinking about is there are so many different generations at the workplace right now, and the driver for satisfaction of the is different. And when we think about how we can bring together an EVP that appeals to a vast majority, there are too many things to consider, right? There's psychological safety, there's growth mindset, there's learning, there's diversity, there's compensation, there's experience. So tell me a little bit about how you bring it together for your employees back at Hershey.
Okay. So rightfully said, Sujatha, I think EVP is really a sum of many, many components. There is learning and development, there is work-life balance, there is well-being, there is diversity, equity, inclusion, and all of these are important. How we do it in Hershey is we do what we have these regular surveys, just getting the pulse of what is important to our teams, and that's the one we focus a lot of effort behind. So for example, prioritization is an important one that we are focusing on because we want to kind of go behind few big, large things. So that's come up as an area that people have said is important for impacting our work-life balance, our well-being, and that's what we are focusing on. Or on learning and development and career progression. So in the last couple of years, actually, Hershey India has sent people to the US, to London, to Singapore, to Malaysia, all in the interest of saying career progression. It's a global organization, and how do we leverage that going forward? Diversity, equity, inclusion, super critical. In 2017, we had only 12% diversity. That has moved up to 27%. We had like 6% in sales as a function. Is that's doubled itself. So I think really putting in the roadmap for what is important for our teams, and then for each of these, what will it take for us to really make concrete action? So that's how we look at our EVP in India.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't stop being complicated, does it? But it does work. And as long as it works, I think we're home and dry.
Absolutely.
Again, another one here. What do you think organizations can do to come in their own way of creating an EVP that works? So what could be some of the pitfalls that organizations must avoid?
I think, and I referred to it earlier on, what could be a pitfall is prioritization. Something else kind of starts taking priority. There is a short-term need for us to deliver XYZ in a given amount of time that could directly conflict with our well-being initiatives or our work-life balance. As long as these are infrequent, once in a while, I think that's par for the course. I mean, as an organization, we need to be nimble. We need to be able to stretch. We need to be entrepreneurial. But it is also important to ensure, and that's the other thing that could come in the way, that this is embedded in the way the company functions.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of organizations have EVP as lip service, so they've put down the plans, they've put down a program, but are they really doing it? Are they living it on a day-to-day, month-to-month, space? And I think that's where Hershey India does it very well. So, for example, there are Hershey behaviors that we commend. In every single town hall, we bring alive people who really lived those behaviors. We commend them, we applaud them, we, felicitate them. And that's really what therefore embeds those behaviors into the organization's day-to-day kind of functioning and working. So I think, yeah, for me, that's an important one, which is, make your EVP, ensure you stay true to it, don't get distracted by short-term priorities, and really embed it in the way the functioning of the organization is.
That's very interesting, Geetika, that you say that, because it's one thing to have an EVP, it's another to make it known, and it's an entirely different thing to let our people experience it. Okay, and I think that the last piece really is where the meat of that is, because it's also about embedding them into your day-to-day process. So, you spoke a little bit about self-validation, recognition. What are some of the other processes in your mind where you can embed some of these elements of EVP so it comes across as being more authentic?
Yeah. So I think, like I said, embedding it means ensuring it translates into our day-to-day. So, for example, learning and development, such an important part of how, what is important to our people, and therefore what we focus on in the employee value proposition. How do we embed it? Every single person in Hershey would have what we call a CDAP, or a career development action plan. How do we take it forward? What are they, what is the skills that they are looking for, and what will take them to where they want to go? We have every single person is invested in. Yes, there are those who get kind of more investment behind them, but we invest in everyone. And we invest more in some others who have, say, greater impact or value to the organization. Every conversation around our development plans is kind of facilitated by HR, so that they are very much in the know of what's happening. And of course, we bring it to the leadership team once every quarter to ensure that, we are managing our succession pipelines, our pools going forward. I mentioned we reward and recognize Hershey behavior. So every single town hall, we talk about how does that, translate. So I think for me, like I said, intrinsic and external, internal and external EVP are very intrinsically linked, right? So if you ask me, that's how we look at EVP in our day-to-day.
No, interesting. And you're right. Embedding it into the day-to-day is perhaps the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So it becomes part of our vocabulary quickly. And not just leaders, but the entire organization is then speaking about EVP and that experience. They might not use EVP as the term, but definitely the experience and the values and the way an organization shows up. I'm going to move this slightly away right now from the internal context to the external. So if you can speak a little bit about how does one take the EVP and make it a brand that creates that pull for future talent to come into the organization, or even future business to get attracted back into the organization. So your views on branding.
So I do believe internal and external are very, very closely linked. Yeah, I think it's important to not forget that our best advocates are our internal employees. They know the company better than anyone else. Each one of them can really be a brand champion. And therefore, as we build the brand for the future, a large part of it is really figuring out what do our employees want? What are they passionate about? How can we create a team that is excited about bringing their, ace game? And I think that then ensures that they are our brand ambassadors who take it forward. A good manifestation of that has been, Great Place to Work certification that we've just got. So in fact, just a couple of days ago, we were certified as a great place to work. And I think that then helps in external branding as well. It ensures we become a bit of a talent magnet for great people who are looking to do, great work outside. They can then kind of feel that this is a great place to work. It gives me, or it gives other employees the space, the belief, the comfort that they can do their best game. And I would love to work for a company like that. I think the other thing, and that helps because, we are Hershey, we are chocolates. We are what we like to say, the sweetest place on earth. Yeah, so it's a category that is intuitively something that does bring a smile on consumers and employees' faces. If you come to our offices, it's dotted with chocolates and Hershey milkshakes and what have you. So it's genuinely a great place to work from that sense. And I think that's another space where we can take our internal branding and take it external on saying it's the sweetest place on earth, literally, but also figuratively, if you want to make a great career here.
Yeah. In fact, that's actually it's so cool that you say that you take your brand, which is also your product, which so closely links to bringing happy smiles on people's faces. And I think if that cascades throughout on the way people experience their work day to day, and I think your EVP comes alive pretty much each day with every interaction, with every moment that matters. But that's pretty much what I had for us today, Geetika. It's been outstanding speaking with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sujatha. It was a pleasure.